Girl, you the band, and she love me when I'm in it, and she never be pretending, nothing is friend. She gon' tell you what she bought it, cause she know you can't afford it. Know you can get it, looking exquisite, no competition, stay on the pivot. Who be watching, they be plotting.
All right. Good day. Welcome to the East Spot. I'm your host, Camille Cower, and I cannot wait for you guys to meet my good friends. I'm not even wasting more time because I don't want to waste any more time. I can't wait to talk to them. They're my favorite twins in the world, and they're the most hardworking ones in Hollywood. I don't care what you guys said about those other twins. We won't even talk about them. You guys are the only twins that matter. So how's everything going? How are you guys doing, Gary?
Good, Camille. How are you doing? How's everything in North Carolina? We've been following because our mom is in North Carolina as well.
Right, Goldsboro. How is she from there originally? Are you guys?
Yeah, we grew up in Goldsboro.
Air Force.
We're gonna step on each other
all the time.
We grew up in Goldsboro, so that's where all of our family is, and we're currently in Burbank, California.
You guys live in the Valley.
We're in the Valley, yeah.
I made fun of the Valley so much. Oh no! Oops! I pressed the wrong button. Sorry. I pressed the wrong button. I meant to put your name up, and I pressed the hide. But you know how the Valley is. Just kidding.
I think the Valley got you because you threw shade at it.
It's so funny. My daughter, we were at Hawaiian Luau, and there was this book that was like Dick and Jane, which is funny because you guys were in
Mary Jane's.
And
we were in Jack and Jane.
That too. But in the book, it shades the Valley. She's like, she's a cool girl, not from the Valley or something like that.
It gets shaded a lot.
Learn young, man. It's like, I don't know if I can really talk living in Cary, but I'll try anyway. So you guys have been doing a lot since Goldsboro. So let's start from the very beginning. You're from Goldsboro.
Yes.
And
so we grew up in
Goldsboro.
Goldsboro.
The acting big? Oh, sorry.
Well, no, the acting really started because we would go down to Wilmington and work some in Wilmington. We did a thing on Dawson's Creek. But where we really got a taste of it, Pepsi originated in New Bern, North Carolina. So they did a 100-year anniversary, like a bicentennial commercial, and they wanted all local people. So we went and auditioned.
And we got picked for
thousands of people, and we were picked out of 8 to be featured. So that was our first taste.
And then we got cut out, so we really got the taste.
So we got the shop, but we still got.
But you got the check, right? That's the part that matters.
Yeah, we got
the check and the bragging
rights. It was supposed to
right.
be a Super Bowl. It was a Super Bowl commercial. So we told God and country,
everybody,
and then it aired, and they were like, "Oh well, I saw everything you said, but I didn't see you." And we learned a lesson about the cutting room floor.
Mm-hmm. And you learn not to tell until you see it first yourself.
Yes.
Just in days. Oh my goodness.
And then eventually we did a lot of cool stuff, and then we led to Mary Jane's Last Dance, which was later changed to New Best Friend, which is where we worked with you for over 13 or 14 days on that film.
It was a long shoot, yeah, because and we traveled with it too. We had to go down to Charleston, but that was so much fun. I felt like the crew and all the cast, like we just all became really good friends there. But we had our small little crew that got even closer. It was just me, you, Vera, and Marie, and Nicole. And Ben.
Yeah, and I think people don't realize when you're doing stuff like, because we were doing extra work, but there's so much downtime. So all we did was laugh and play cards and cut up
and walk around in diapers.
And we were put in diapers.
Yes. Okay. So for the Halloween, it was a Halloween party, which is another thing that I thought was funny about this movie. The entire time we were always at the parties, always doing drugs, which I didn't know it was drugs. I just
we
knew
were the cool kids.
Candy. Yeah, we were like never in class.
We were promoting drugs and partying, and we couldn't tell our moms this. How's your movie going along? What's it about? And we're standing in diapers about to go to a party and do drugs.
Oh, and remember, I had the kissing scene. I told my then boyfriend who broke up with me for it, and then I was like, I was like, I'm not telling anybody else. And then thankfully it didn't make it to the movie, so there's no proof
Zoe,
of it,
she was like a first-time director. She made you do the kissing scene. She made us wear diapers. She was like, "Oh, your twins are going to be my babies."
Yeah.
So she put us in these little cloth diapers, and we ran into Tay Diggs, who was the sheriff in the movie. He laughed at us. We're like, "Yeah, this is kind of rock bottom."
I would say, but we had so much fun.
We
on
did.
that.
We
had
did.
fun.
We
It
had a
was
lot of
nice
fun. And
being able to
then,
play partying every day.
well, we've kept up like with you through Facebook, and everybody keeps up, but we haven't really talked. And then we were all in COVID-19, and so somehow we started talking, and then Vera popped in, and then we started a chat room, and everybody started posting their pictures, and we had like the best memory lane.
It was
story.
nice connecting again. Well, what happened was, I don't remember. I think I posted a Throwback Thursday picture, and then Ben just hit me up on Instagram, like showing me all these other pictures he had that I didn't even know existed. And so then that's when I started sending it to you guys, because I was like, oh, they got to see this. And yeah.
And then we'd mention a memory, and somebody would put a photo in it. So we had like we had a thread going for days.
But only the three of us have Goldie
speaking
Hawn.
of photo, remember that the infamous photo we got to take with
let me set up. So this is what happened.
Yeah,
so
set it up.
We were working with so many really cool, like Rachel True, Dominique Swain. We were working with Meredith Monroe, but we were also working with Oliver Hudson, who Goldie Hawn, his mom. So then we were all just like on the set one day. We were shooting in a big mansion in Wilmington and just having a lot of fun. But then Goldie flew in to visit him. So she comes in, she's in all white. She's wearing the exact outfit that she wore at the end of First Wives Club. That white leather pants and a white sweater. Exactly what she wore. So we see her, and they told us not to talk to her. They said she was going to be a famous person would become and not to address her. So we didn't listen. Camille had a camera. So as soon as we saw Goldie, and they took her upstairs where Oliver and all them were up in the up part. So as soon as she went up, we grabbed Camille, and we went up this back staircase in the back part of the mansion and went up there. So the first thing we said, because it was just the three of us and Goldie, we were all by ourselves. We said, Goldie, do you mind if we get a photo? And Goldie said, not if you don't mind if I pee first. Because I guess she really had to go. So she went to the restroom. We waited very politely. Then Camille got her photo and then took our picture with Goldie. Do you remember the first photo didn't come out because she was in front of the window? And then
it was see-through.
Yeah, so then you went and you got another photo, thank goodness, and you got a great photo with her too.
But I went and got them developed at the 30-minute photo, and we brought it back, and then at lunch.
Wait, but you had to sneak during lunch, which is one of the benefits of being a twin, because you're not supposed to leave.
He snuck before lunch.
Yeah, I was all
and
set.
I had to bop around and be everywhere so everybody would say, "Oh, the twins are still here." I had to be moving everywhere, and he was going. He was going during lunch.
He was pulling double baby duty.
And then he came back, had them developed, and then we all went up to Goldie at lunch and asked her, would she sign it? She said that she had never seen that so fast. And we ran into her years later, and she still remembered it.
Yes. I mean, that is one of my most treasured memories. Not only because I loved Goldie Hawn, since that's why I was asking if you guys are military brat and maybe weren't local to Goldsboro, but Benjamin, Private Benjamin, all those different movies. Those were some of the films I grew up watching, and in First Wives Club, of course, but I absolutely love her. So then I was like, well, I don't ever need to do this again. I've gotten an autograph from Goldie Hawn.
It worked so well years later. We did it to Dolly, because Dolly was doing a CD signing back when they used to sign in the music stores. So she was signing an album. So we waited in line, we're the first ones in line almost. Got in line with her. She signed the CD. We took a picture with her
in New York.
Really nice. Larry ran to the 30-minute photo. We got back in the back of the line, went all the way through again, and got back up there. And at first, her security guard was like, "You guys have already been through. You can't come through." And so Dolly was like, "It's my twins." And she called me and Larry up there because she could see us because we were at the front. And she goes, "I run this show." And we showed her the photo, and we're like, "Would you mind signing it?" She goes, "That is the fastest development I've ever seen." And she signed it, and she was so nice.
We said Goldie Hawn said the same thing.
Name droppers, I love it. What's funny, now I'm going to name drop a little too. I did that same thing. So my husband is a Teamster, and we were part of the Teamster presidential committee, so we'd have to meet with all the different people who were running for president. Just even if you agreed with them, didn't agree with it, didn't matter. And so we got to meet Joe Biden, and we got to hang out with him in a separate room. Got pictures taken, and I got him developed because I was just in case. And then that following, maybe 3 months later, he was back in town, so I brought it with me with maybe the hopes that he would autograph it or something, and he did. And thanks to you guys that I had that idea, because I would have never.
And as the next president, you will treasure that even more in November.
I already got my Christmas card made because it says "Riding with Biden" on it, but it's to my daughter's name because I wanted her to have it for a treasured memory. Because of course now she's like, "Whoa!" But when she's old enough to vote, she goes, "Oh,
I hope we
hope
are all riding
Pretty
with Biden in
expensive.
November.
That's awesome.
That's
for
awesome.
sure. Yeah. You know, I have to admit, he wasn't my first choice originally, but he won me over when we got to meet him and he was talking about unions and just the importance of collective bargaining and just equal rights and all of that. And just like thinking about your new documentary, because well, I don't want to skip past all your acting accolades, but it just made me think about you guys with the new documentary you're working on with Still Working 9 to 5, like how important all of those things are. And you guys are shining a light on it, using your privilege, as they say, I guess.
And another cross there is
yeah.
we went and interviewed Lily Ledbetter from the Fair Pay Act, and she, you know, we took her all around Virginia. We were actually in Virginia filming when Virginia ratified as the 38th. And we had her there filming, and she also talked to us about how Obama and Biden in 2009, when they signed the Fair Pay Act, how wonderful they were to her. So that was just a part of history where she intersected with Biden, and she supports Biden as well. So we're giving a Biden promo.
To still yet, or still 9 to 5, because I still want to talk about, because we didn't have Facebook and all of that when you guys were doing Wipeout and Fear Factor. So I need to get caught up on all of that. Like I saw the interviews about you guys talk about it, because I follow everything you guys do. And we do talk like through Messenger and stuff. But yeah, how did you guys even get yourself into Fear Factor and do all of the different things you had to do? I was so proud of you guys, by the way.
Thank you so much. Stuff.
We had just moved to LA. I think we did Mary Jane's Last Dance when we were in North Carolina, but we moved to LA in 2001, end of 2000 into 2001. And we had been out here for about a week, and our agent, we had just got like an extra agent or whatever. And they said, would you like to do Fear Factor? They wanted to do a twin show. So we'd only been out in LA for 7 days. We had just barely moved here. So we got on the show. We won the $50,000, and it was December 1st. So they said, you're not going to get the check until April when it airs. It's not going to air. So then December 23rd, we actually got the check. So I guess they did it so we wouldn't talk about it. So we're sitting in a studio apartment, no furniture.
Banks are closed.
And we're eating top ramen, and we've got a $50,000 check between us that we can't cash.
So we called our mom. We're like, hey, Mom, we got our $50,000 check. We can't cash it. So we were eating top ramen. She said, well, this will just be one for your book. Because we were just like, we needed to cash it so bad to get groceries.
Sitting on the futon.
Oh, my God. What was that moment like, cash? Because I have yet to cash a check that large at one time. So, I mean, how did you guys feel?
It helped us so much because it got us through the first year in LA with not a lot of stress, because we were kind of moving out there with no work. We had maybe $5,000 on us to get through. So that helped us a lot. And then we went on to win a game show. Yeah, there was a show called Set for Life. Back when NBC had Deal or No Deal, ABC tried to come out with one called Set for Life, and Jimmy Kimmel was the host, and they wanted twins on it. So they had us on there, and so we played that one, and they actually flew our parents out for that one. It was 2007. So our mom was so nervous. They were like, if you don't come out, because she was part of the story because she'd never flown, they're like, if you don't come out as part of their backstory and fly to LA, we're not going to put them on. So they kind of pushed our mom into the shot. And so then we're playing the game, and they get her hands, and she's nervous. So nervous.
But we won $125,000 on that one. So that was insane. And
it was called Set for Life because what they did, they took your prize money and they broke it up into a monthly residual income. So every single month for 5 years, we got $2,000.
We got $2,000.
So when it stopped, it was like, we were like, where's it at? We want our money. So
then we had to sign up for Wipeout, and we won $50,000 on that one. So we've become really good with reality.
Wipeout. That was the one you got injured, right?
That was we just pulled every muscle in our body. That's the one with the big red balls and the obstacle course and
whiplash.
So what was so funny about that?
When you first saw the game, were you guys
we wanted the $50,000. We wanted the $50,000. We were not afraid of it. But what happened? It was all teams of two. So whereas on the twin show Fear Factor, we only had to beat 2 sets of twins, and we won. So on this one, there were 12 sets of 2. So me and Larry had to beat 11 other teams. So it was a lot harder. But what happened was you draw a number 1 through 12, and when you see Wipeout, you know how it says the word Wipeout, and then they run onto the course. So we're on the outside. So there's a big 12-foot perimeter. So all we see is the people at the top. And then once they go into the game, we can't see them anymore.
We don't know what they're doing.
So the team number 1 went up there, and we drew number 7, so we were middle of the pack waiting to go. So as soon as they went in, they had been on the course for like 30 seconds, and then the ambulance that was on site
Comes
came
in.
over,
So we're like, oh my
and
God.
they take her out, and it was a mother-son, and the mother broke her ankle in the course. So then as soon as they get her off the course, then the producers go, all right, team number 2, let's go. And we were kind of like,
The show must go on.
yeah, so we did that.
Oh,
And we won, but that was the hardest thing we've ever done.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
It was hard.
The girl on the final, that's the funniest
Oh,
story.
yeah, one last story. Okay, sorry. So
no,
the girl,
that's what you're here for, is to share your stories.
It was a
That last
father-daughter. It was a father-daughter at the end. So it was us against them. So they blindfolded me and Larry and the dad, and Sally, his daughter, was the first one to go. So they took her out of the van, and we were just sitting in there with the dad. We waited like 45 minutes, an hour. Finally, the dad, we're just sitting with blindfolds so we can only talk to each other. The dad goes, you know, what's going on with my daughter? What's taking so long? So he didn't know what was going on. So then I was number 2. So like, okay, Gary, come on. So they put me in, and it was winter wipeout. So this is where they would lay you out like Superman, and they would launch you into the game.
So the machine would stop, but you'd keep going in the water.
So anyway, so the safety guy's there, and he goes, now listen, we're going to shoot you into the game, and you just need to not tuck your knees because you don't want to end up like Sally. And I'm about to go, what happened to Sally? And I shoot, and I'm in the game. So the whole time I'm in the game, I'm like, God, what the hell happened to Sally? What happened to Sally? And so then when I get through, Sally is in the thing, and she tucked her knees and broke 2 ribs. So that's why they said don't tuck your knees. So then when they aired the episode, all the hurt was edited out. No broken ankle, no broken ribs. So they
made it look like Sally went last, even though she went first
and came in last.
But she's like walking like this. She broke her ribs. It was terrible.
But we won $50,000,
and we sent Sally $1,000.
We gave her $1,000 to be
that was nice
because she was going through college and stuff. So we sent her $1,000. So that was good karma.
You guys are such good people to even think to do that. But wow, I can't even imagine doing a game show where you're seeing people getting injured and still going through with it, like $50,000. But if you've had it before, you know how great of a life
you're on it,
especially as an actor, because you just never know when that next job's going to come, and you really have to budget for it.
Yes, and the one thing about it, we always say, we had a lot of friends out here when we first came out, and most of them, you know, from Dallas or where they're from, most of them are all gone now. So we always said we counted the blessings we got. We had each other, which was a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Because a lot of people out here by themselves. So, but I think when you have something that you really want to do, you just chase after it. I think we even probably told y'all in Wilmington way back then that we were trying to go to LA and trying to pursue it. And so then eventually we did get out here.
No, it's funny because when I lived in LA, we never crossed paths, but maybe because you were in the Valley.
No.
Like, I joke with my husband, I was like, you're lucky you didn't live in the Valley because we would have dated.
For 5 years, we lived for 5 years. We were on Sunset Boulevard, literally right up from the Viper Room.
Oh, that's right.
We were up there.
We talked about meeting up one night.
We lived in the heart of it.
I'm not West Hollywood. I worked in West Hollywood, but I lived in Culver City.
Okay.
We know that we used to go to that Bally's all the time over by Sony Studios, the big Bally's.
Right. That's where I lived. I lived in Overland and Glendon. So that was my gym.
I know right where you're at.
And Ralph's right there was my grocery store. And
there's a
Sony's
Starbucks. There's a Robex. Yep. Let's walking in the middle.
Robex juice, smoothies. And there's like an In-N-Out not that far up the street. And then there was
that's a good area.
Yeah. No, look, leave me anywhere in North Carolina and I need a GPS. No longer how long I've lived here, and I've been here like 10 years now, but I could picture everything because it makes sense where everything's at.
It's everything's laid out. It's the grid.
And but here
all the viewers are going to be wanting to go to LA for In-N-Out, and we've told them the road map. You gave them the streets and everything.
Well, luckily my dad doesn't live there because Granted, now they can use that for my bank information. No, I'm kidding.
No, you're safe. So, but we, we've done our thing out here, and we've had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
But, the documentary we're working on now, it's taken a life of its own from what we've been filming it for 2 years. So, but there's a lot going on with
everything keeps going back to Dolly, which I love too.
Yes, Dolly has stayed. We did a documentary in 2010. We filmed it, and it came out in 2011. Hollywood to Dollywood, and did a cross country to give her a script. And she was actually so amazing. We used 15 of her songs
in an RV, I might add.
in an
Yes.
RV. Yeah. Then she let us use 15 songs, which is unheard of.
Oh,
And, that was our first start to making documentary films. And we had such an impact from that film.
But right when we started on that, actually on the road trip, not even out of the first day, the floods of Nashville happened. So literally our interviews were just underwater. Like we were supposed to film at Opryland underwater, everything. So we had to redo the whole documentary because we were already on the road. We had interviews with Emmylou Harris, got canceled because her place flooded. It was terrible.
So we kind of learned when you're a producer and you're setting up shots, and we learned a crash course. You have to make it happen. So we've really been making it happen with this one because we set out and we wanted to get Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, Dolly Parton, and Dabney Coleman.
Let's back up.
So,
I mean, just in case, because there's people who are might be too young to know about 9 to 5.
Okay.
So tell a little bit about what the documentary is about, how it started, and that too.
Yes.
Okay. Well, in 1980, there was a film called 9 to 5, and it was Dolly Parton, Lily Tomlin, and Jane Fonda, and they were all secretaries. And Jane wanted to make this movie because at that time in the country, a lot of secretaries were going into the workforce, not having rights, not having equal pay, not having equal job advancement, not having universal daycare, all these issues that Jane wanted to address in a movie, that she made a comedy so it would have more of a broad appeal. So one thing we started looking at 40 years later, all of those issues, equal pay, equal promotion, advanced daycare, sexual harassment in the Me Too Time's Up era, all of those issues still have not been addressed. So we wanted to make the documentary still working 9 to 5 because we're still working at changing all those issues. So we partnered up with another fellow Camille Hardman, and she's a documentary.
I love her name, by the way.
You got to have good Camilles in your life if you're going to make it work. So we partnered up with her because she's a documentary filmmaker in Australia. And plus, we really wanted a female's perspective in it because of the issues that the documentary is taking a look at. So we all decided to team up. We started chasing on interviews. We went to Dolly first and her management, and she came right in, which that was amazing because we got to interview her. And what we really wanted to do is follow the timeline of 9 to 5. So in 1980, you had a film. In 1982 to 87, you have a TV series that starred Rita Moreno. So we interviewed Rita Moreno and various members of that cast, female writers on that show. Then in 2009, you had a musical 9 to 5, which was Allison Janney and Stephanie J. Block and a lot of amazing women. So we interviewed all of them. And then in 2019, they actually redid the play in London on the West End. You had a whole new British cast. So we flew to London. We filmed all of them. So what we do is we're following the 9 to 5 timeline with the women's movement, women in the workplace timeline. And they intersect throughout the documentary. But we've been able to interview everybody that was involved in various iterations of 9 to 5. And Dabney Coleman, he was our last one because Dabney plays the sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot boss. So that's his part.
One of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
Right when
and
she
we were
pushes the
able
remote.
to get his interview in February out here and he's 89 years old just before everything shut down. So we're editing and getting everything ready for a fall release after all this is back to normal somewhat.
And Dolly's released a new version of 9 to 5 because the only song that she's never let anybody record is 9 to 5. You only hear her version unless it's live. So she's approved a new, more haunting and darker version that a new artist is going to do, and it's for our documentary.
So we're really excited about that.
Can you say what it is, or it's
due to a Sony contract that's being signed as we speak, we have to wait just a little bit. But
it's going to be amazing. People are
I guess TwinZZone will get the exclusive. Okay.
TwinZZone, see, I forgot about that too. We created that out of thin air, and that's just really blown up. So we love doing that as well.
Yeah, I felt like because when we first started working together, the things that I felt like made us click so well is because we both were just like anything pop culture, or we would recognize everyone. Like we watched everything, I guess, because we would it was just fun. We could talk about things and finish each other's sentences almost because we knew what movie without having to say the whole line or whatever. And so seeing when you guys were doing red carpet, that kind of got me interested in doing red carpet stuff. Yes. And that's when I started doing it here.
And you wrote me and were asking me
like you guys were always so open with advice and just
absolutely.
I'm so grateful to have you guys in my life. But
you're doing so amazing. We watched the guest lineup. You're doing so good. So congratulations. Oh my
gosh, you can't wait for the rest of the month. Gang Gang Twins is one of them. Just Just saying, I do have another set of twins coming on this month.
Well, tell them we said hello. Any twins we support. But the whole thing with the way that worked is I got hired for an outlet called Pop Rap, and I was going around, and he would come with me and like help do the lighting and all that stuff. So when I would interview people would notice him in the back, and they're like, "Oh, you're twins," and this and that. And so then I was like, we kind of need to utilize the twin thing. And so since then, like anybody we're interviewing, most of them have never been interviewed by twins. So we kind of do this whole surround sound thing, and it's just kind of helped us.
Some of them are so funny. They don't even get the twin thing until
Suzanne Summers.
Halfway through, they realize, oh my God, you're identical twins. Like, they finally.
That's the funniest part.
Yeah.
So she's like, this is my Chrissy Snow. Yeah, she's like, this is my Chrissy Snow blonde moment.
That's hilarious.
We got to tell Glenn.
We got to tell Glenn.
Yeah, I was going to ask, have you had any fun interviews? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we were doing the Critics' Choice Awards last year, and they brought Glenn Close up, and so we started interviewing her. She had just done that Golden Globe speech about your mom, and she was in The Wife last year, so that's what that was all about.
Good.
And then what we do is at the end of the interview, we always get them to say whoever it is, Ted Danson in the TwinZZone, Dolly Parton in the TwinZZone. So we're like, Glenn, will you look right at the camera and will you just say Glenn Close in the TwinZZone? So she was like, absolutely. And she goes, this is Glenn Close in the time zone. And then you can't correct her. You can't correct her.
Unless she's won an Oscar. We're not asking her to do it again.
So she's not always good with her lines.
Yeah, so that was fun. She was really sweet. But it's helped us because like we did the Bodyguard opening, and Angela Bassett was like the big name on the carpet because you get a breakdown of who's coming down the carpet to have questions ready. So they're like, Angela's coming. She's just doing photos. She's not doing any interviews. So we're like, shh. So because we really want to talk to her.
We were on the very end.
On the very end. So then when she's coming down the carpet, she goes, "Oh, twins!" And she came over to me and Larry
and talked to us
and didn't talk to any of the rest of them. So they were kind of.
Well, doesn't she have twins? Maybe I think she
maybe
has
that's
twins.
why she did it. But she was really nice.
Yeah.
We got
I could be wrong.
We got from Spiderman. God, I'm drawing a blank on her name. She has twins.
Oh no.
Gisela. No, oh God, I'm drunk. Gabrielle. She has twins, but anyway, she came over because we were twins, and it says twins on her mic. So we've really kind of like tried to brand it and make it fun. And everybody we've interviewed,
it's fun.
They haven't been interviewed by twins, so. And like you said, we're pop culture, so we're like, oh, we loved you and so, and they were like, I did a movie called so and so. We pull that stuff from way back, and they know they've got to be a fan if they know about that one.
Absolutely. I mean, because that's why I was like, oh, that looks like so much fun. I thought you would only be able to do something like that if you were with E or with, like I thought you had to work with a network in order to do that. So seeing you guys doing it, I was like, wait, anybody can try to do this?
You don't get the best placement. The big ones are always on the end right by the photos, but you still kind of get down there. And a lot of the big ones will go by. But like Nicole Kidman went by one time and she waved at the camera, but she didn't stop.
So we've worked ourselves up, and it's just a process. You have to work at everything. So just doing that, you work at it too. And then he gets the next day I'm editing the videos, posting the videos, hashtagging the videos, all that crazy stuff with those people.
Work, right?
It's a lot of work. So anyway, I'm learning. Anyway. I'm the one that does all of our social medias.
Wait, which one's which? Because
Gary.
That's kind of hard to do since
Gary
you guys
Green.
are mirror twins. Okay, Gary Green, Red Larry. Got it.
Yep. Yes.
I know, which is interesting also because even being twins, not everyone knows what mirror twins are either. Can you explain a little bit about that as well?
Well, the mirror twins, we know a set of girls, Carrie and Alicia, they're mirror twins. So that means if one's right-handed, the other one's left-handed.
One's hair parts on this side, the other one's hair parts on this side. So they're an exact mirror.
And those are really, really rare. So if you find mirror twins, they're unicorns in the twin world.
But you guys are mirror twins too. So you guys have that too?
No, we're not.
We're both right-handed, so we're not mirror.
Yeah, the mirror twins, you have to be completely opposite.
Okay, I thought you guys were, because I remember you saying something about the moles, and that was my way of remembering who was who.
Oh, no, that was when we were, so I've got a mole in the middle of my nose,
and mine's
he's got one on the side. So when our mom started us in kindergarten, she goes, now, if you have any questions, Gary has a mole in the middle, and Larry's mole is on the side. So we got a brown marker,
and we made both moles.
And we made both of them. So then our kindergarten teacher would sit there and rub our nose to rub the marker.
You guys have always been pranksters. I love it.
We've
Yeah.
always been pranksters.
I'm trying to think of more stuff we did on Mary Jane's Last Dance because I don't know if we got in trouble there, but we would always push production because we were cutting up and like
We were
having fun.
Oh my god! Like I'm not telling myself
Do you
because I
remember-
still want to
wait.
work here.
Do you remember the when we did the masquerade scene and then after everybody got on drugs, it turned into like a crazy sex party? Do you
Remember when it went really
Obviously.
crazy?
Yeah, it was
This
bad.
thing, oh yeah. Well, see, like I didn't know all of it until I saw the movie.
Yeah, I'm
But
talking
then I
about
was like, that makes sense.
we
But
had
I was
to
like, where's my love scene?
Who was the girl?
it was
the
it was Mia Kirshner.
We had to
twin
twin
grind
grind
her.
and in
And-
diapers.
Yeah, in diapers.
While she's dressed like the devil, which is
Yeah,
so
she was
perfect.
dressed like the devil.
Or the
And
Black
I
Angel.
still love
She was a dark
by
angel.
9
But
Inch
you're-
Nails, and 9
you're
Inch
right,
Nails that
though.
work over and over and over again.
Yes.
The main girl was walking through the party looking for Mary Jane, and so we only knew where our segments were. So when she went on through that house, it got more and more heated as she went through. So we saw it like you afterwards. They even tried to change the name. It was so bad.
Yeah, because it was Mary Jane's Last Dance to New Best Friend, and they had us with all these different like jelly beans that were supposed to be drugs, but we didn't. I mean, I was completely oblivious to. I mean, I saw Valley of the Dolls, but it didn't connect that this is supposed to be Valley of the Dolls.
Yeah.
Because I was just eating them like, oh, it's just candy, and they were passing around balloons, and I didn't know what that was, but found out later those are whippets or whatever. We were just having a grand.
Oh yeah,
old
making our
druggy,
$75 a day.
and since well, I used to be a smoker, and so they were like, anybody here smokes? I was like, yeah, I do, thinking, I get free cigarettes, perfect, I'm poor, and not realizing I would have to smoke the cigarette down to that same point every time. So by the end of it, I was like, I don't ever want to smoke again.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's crazy. We came out here and did extra work, and you always meet cool people, but that one was such a fun cast because we were in Wilmington and we were in the same scenes, which was great.
Yeah, we all
because
worked
they
together.
made us
We're all
the
the same
cool.
age,
We were the
too.
cool kids, so we were always placed around the principals in the scenes. So we were always together when they take them out of the scenes.
Yeah.
Mhm. And it was you remember Shannon Fincannon? She was the casting director that always.
Oh, yeah,
we'd all be
Shannon
like, where's
Fincannon.
Shannon from Fincannon?
Canon, I remember that, and I think everybody was nice except Mia wasn't really that nice, but all the other ones like
Yeah,
Oliver Hunt.
well, Kate Diggs wasn't nice to me then.
We only met him in
Remember?
diapers. So we only met him in diapers.
Well, I'll tell the story. I don't care. It's not like I'll ever work with him again. But we were all working together doing. He was the sheriff, and we were. It was that walking scene that we had to do
Oh,
at Colby.
gosh.
And one of the girls, like, she had asked for an autograph with him or something, and he was like, "Didn't we just do a picture yesterday?" And was like kind of rude about it. And I'm like, "Dude, nobody knows who you are here. Why are you? You know, he was just kind of arrogant.
Stella got her groove back, not Tay.
Right?
See?
And I didn't want to tell him, like, hey, by the way, my dad produced how Stella got her groove back. But hey, whatever. Have fun. Live your life, sir. But
You gotta
I'm not
always
one
be
to do
nice.
that.
You always have to be nice.
Yes.
And then in the article I read that he's talked about how one of his worst films he ever worked on was Mary Jane's Last Dance. I'm like, well, you were no picnic either.
I can't believe he brought it
We
up
had
in
a
an
great
interview.
time. Well, his accent was really bad for a Southern, don't you think? Did you ever see
Yes,
it?
yes.
It was, yeah. So I think it was more just he didn't really get a good vocal coach for the accent.
We only had that scene, and then he did come to the house after the party. That's where we met him when we were in the diapers. Have you heard of what happened to Zoe with her directing? And that was her first film.
Right, and she was like from a film family or something, I think, too.
Yeah.
Her parents or something, but I haven't heard. I know Anthony, because he had the long dreads. He's doing. He was the assistant director on Mary Jane's Last Dance. He's the director for a lot of films. Like he's doing Empire amongst many other stuff. Like he's been directing tons of stuff. He's on Instagram as Shiny Boots.
Okay,
nice.
Shiny Boots, something like that. I'm like,
we'll find him after.
Yeah.
And then Vera,
completely bald-headed now.
Vera was our Miss North Carolina.
Right, that was fun. And did you guys work on the music video as well for Dawson's Creek?
Mm-mm.
I can't remember. Okay.
Mm-mm.
You guys missed out because there was a lot of seagulls involved in that.
Oh, wow.
Like we were literally counting down. I was lucky I didn't get scarred or attacked by a seagull, but every single person got pooped on almost on. And so it was like a wardrobe. Yeah, it was a lot of wardrobe issues on that set. So I didn't know if you guys worked on it.
We didn't do that.
We did the Patriot in Rock Hill, South Carolina with Mel Gibson. Boy, that was like 90 days we were on that thing. 90 days.
What was that like? Because
it started every morning. Yeah, they trained us. They picked 100 guys, so they actually trained us how to fire those muskets. And then the director, Roland Emmerich, he came in. He goes, "Oh, I like the twins," so he made us the flag bearers. So we got to hold the flag.
There was always a regimental flag holder and an American flag holder. So because we were twins, he wanted us to hold the flags. So then all of our friends had to keep firing the muskets, and they were getting like gunpowder.
So we're just holding the flag.
And me and Larry just sitting there holding the flags. So it made it a lot easier for us. But the funny thing about that is with Mel Gibson, before he went off the rails years later, this was on the Patriot in 98 or 99. But anyway, everybody said don't approach Mel, don't do anything, when he's on set, don't bother him. So everybody just knew that was the rule. So we had gone to lunch, and then we were filming this scene because the general was Chris Cooper
from American Beauty.
From American Beauty. So because we were the ones holding the flags, he was the general right beside of us, because you don't shoot the colors or the band, the drummers are behind us. So when we were setting up after lunch, this was a scene where Mel Gibson and the militia run over the hill at the end, and they fall in line in front of us. So Mel and them are right in front of us because Chris Cooper's right beside us.
So he kept looking back, almost to the point of like, why does he keep looking?
Yeah. So he was just looking at us. So then we went to lunch. And when we came back from lunch, me and Larry were there where we're supposed to set. And then, everybody comes back around you. And then Chris Cooper pops in and the Mel pops in. But it was just Mel Gibson. And he was walking from like 200 feet away. Just
coming right towards us.
Walking right at me and Larry. And I was like, Larry,
yeah.
We're trying not to
You're like, meet the weapons coming at me. Meet the weapons coming at me.
When he gets closer, he goes, "Hey guys, I want you to do me a favor." He goes, after lunch, after the first take, when they yell cut, don't cut. And he gave me and Larry packs of double mint gum.
And he wanted us to sing the song with him.
I want y'all to sing the double pleasures waiting for you. So he set this whole thing up because he's got twin sons, and we knew it at that time. But anyway, when they yelled cut, Mel jumped up off the ground, got between me and Larry. We're like, "A double pleasures waiting for you."
And they were just laughing.
Roland Emmerich and the whole tent blew up. So then Mel Gibson's like, we went up to him afterwards and we're like, "Mel, do you mind if we get a photo?" And he goes, "Absolutely not." And he's like, "Absolutely, I don't mind." So he took a photo with us. But then afterwards, we told our mom that day, the rest of the soldiers, they were mad at us. They thought we were like ass kissers. And our mom's like, "Well, he came up to you. Right. You didn't seek him out." So that's when we kind of learned a lesson.
But the same thing, we took it back the next day and we showed him and he signed it. We learned that.
he put "Keep Chewing, Boys." So that was a good memory.
That's the benefit of printing. You got to print your photos.
Yeah, it's true.
You can't get an iPhone signed,
Yeah, because all you got is digital now. It's so true.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when you were telling the story at first, I was like, wait, do we need to explain the difference between film cameras and iPhones?
Yeah, it's so
either way, you still have to go get it printed.
You don't have anything now printed out. No photo albums.
Oh, Anthony Hemingway. Somebody wrote the name. Anthony Hemingway.
Hemingway.
That's the AD's name.
Okay,
awesome. He's crushing it. That's
good. I saw Rhonda pop up. Hi, Rhonda.
Yeah, Rhonda. She was with us a lot too. And Demoris. I forgot his name earlier. My bad. It was a lot of us. We had.
It's hard when you're live. We know how them SNL people do it every week.
Well, and they have cue cards. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
too.
They have cue cards.
They know when to go next. And since I'm dyslexic, if I'm reading too many things, and I'm ADD, so I'm like, if I have too much stuff to look at, I might forget that I need to look at the camera instead of. And I can't even.
And we just have you, so we can't see what the people are writing. We can only see you, so I can't see their.
Oh, in that case, my own photo shoot. It's been a while.
Hi, Camille.
That was the most awkward story. That one of the new cast from Saturday Night Live, we were on a red carpet, remember? And the lady, the Wrangler, said, "Would you like to speak to TwinZZone?" And she's literally standing 2 feet away.
She looked right at us and went,
"No." She's 2 feet away from us. We're like, okay.
We didn't
I'm not
hear
gonna
that.
say her name. She threw shade. Every time I watch SNL, that's her. That's her. I say it every time.
People don't realize that when they're mean, you'll never forget them.
You never forget.
It definitely leaves the implant.
Keanu Reeves was bad, and then honestly,
No, don't say that. Okay, Keanu Reeves was a bad one. We were in New York,
96.
96. We were rollerblading. This is a good story. We were rollerblading, and they're setting up like at this church. They've got the whole scene set up. So in New York, people don't care. They're just going by.
But we noticed the big craft services, and I was like, I swear that is Al Pacino at craft service. I know that's Al Pacino.
So it was the Devil's Advocate.
The Devil's Advocate.
Okay, so what happened?
We roll up on it.
Oh yeah, we rollerbladed up right out of Central Park, and we went up to Al Pacino. And we're like, Al Pacino. We're such big fans. You mind if we could? Not at all, guys. And took a really cool photo of him. So he was really nice. So then Keanu Reeves is coming out of the church. So you can't write this. So he walks by, and I was like, Keanu, like that, and he kept going, and I was like, Keanu, and he goes, what? And I was like, nothing. I was like, I was going to ask you for a photo, but it's fine. He goes, no, it's fine. Do
you have somebody to take it?
Okay, so then this girl walking by, she's all disoriented, and she
like
just
a homeless person,
like a crazy person. So we're like, would you mind taking a photo? Because we thought
and
it was
no.
Like, didn't know who she was. So the next person that came along took the photo with Keanu. So me and Larry are smiling real big. He's got like, who's like this
in the picture,
in the photo. So anyway, months later, when the movie comes out, it was the scene where Charlize Theron
she's the one we asked.
She was
Charlize Theron was the crazy one with her eyes dilated.
Her eyes had been dilated because she just saw Jesus. So we asked her to take a photo.
She'd be all cut up and
we
everything.
didn't even know who she was. Yeah, it was so
and he's
funny.
coming out of church like upset, and
right when we
you're
saw
messing
the movie,
up their
we're
whole
like,
process.
We said that's the crazy lady that we asked for the photo. So, but yeah, you gotta always be nice to people. We try to be nice to everybody. And Keanu wasn't nice to us.
Well, I mean, he just met the devil in the church and
He
cut
just
up his wife.
That's
Give him a
right.
break. He just saw his wife say that she's seeing people, and yeah.
That was
Oh my
her.
God,
Another one was
hilarious.
Alicia Silverstone. She was a nightmare. Yeah.
Clueless.
We were
Well,
at like
isn't
we were
she
at
the
the
one
Golden
that
Globes.
shoots
We were
her
at the
food before
Golden.
she gives it to him?
We were at the Golden Globes, and she was like all by herself, and we're like, Alyssa, do you mind if we get a photo, Alyssa? She goes, yeah, I mind. And she walked to me and Larry, and I'm not saying anything, but a week later that show got canceled. Like she had a new TV show that came out for like 30 minutes, and it was gone.
Karma. You gotta be nice to people.
You gotta be
You
nice.
never know, especially with the directors and producers that you guys are.
You gotta always be nice.
That's true.
I think you've held on to it. I think it's just like
it's North Carolina.
North Carolina for us. We were raised that way, so we try to always have manners and always be polite.
We tell people it was beaten into us.
Well, I know I watched some of your other interviews, and I know that you guys dealt with bullying, and that's something I dealt with as well. And I was actually abused as a kid by my teacher, even. So I had like a lot of issues where I just felt like I had to be overly nice to make up so people wouldn't mess with me anymore, or make like comedies, or try to, and like moving around all the time. The new kid is always the easiest one to bully, and so on. So I always felt like I never wanted to make somebody feel the way I felt when they were mean to me or hurt me, and so I just can't do that. I mean, if you give me attitude, I will definitely give it back, maybe 100 times fold. So I follow your energy. But initially,
you do this one where you do the mess of the.
I'm doing the color purple. Everything you do is gonna be.
She went like this. She went like this with that finger pulled up, already done crumbled.
But at the same time, I don't want the bad karma of thinking too much about it. But I'm like, oh, just wait, girlfriend. You're me today, but what's gonna happen to you tomorrow? You're gonna.
What an amazing movie, Whoopi, and that was such a good movie. Oprah.
Movie.
That was and that was filmed in North Carolina. My grandmother worked on it.
So many good movies. Nell with Jodie Foster. There's so many good movies that came out of North Carolina. And then they got greedy, britches. Then they got greedy, and everything went up to Canada.
Well, no, actually, HB2 is what ruined it here too.
Well, Canada scooped it years ago, but the HB2 really.
I was gone during then, so I forgot. I forgot about that. But yeah, we could. All that we could have had. We could have did all of this here. All the films that you guys are doing. But no. But you gotta be greedy and HB2.
But you gotta also remember, if North Carolina keeps opening up and California doesn't, then things may move there. It's just it'll be a whole new normal.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll remember where they came from and keep the productions.
It's like 50-50, because part of me is like, we're seeing an uptick here as well. So it's like, if you're moving here or moving your production here, is it because you're trying to take advantage of the fact because you can get away with more here because they're not going to be as like there's not going to be people on a regular basis coming to check because we don't have a SAG office here. There's no DGA. There's no, like there's no real unions or people to check up to make sure, because the Wilmington office closed. I don't know if you guys were here when, because that's where I got my SAG at, but they closed down. So there's no one really to check up to make sure you're following the rules. And I've gone to some of the film commission meetings, and even there you can hear almost like all the different regulations that they do have, but who's really
well, see, we found out South Carolina when we worked on the Patriot, because it was in Rock Hill, South Carolina. It is a right to work state.
Yeah.
So
North Carolina.
Oh, see, I didn't know that North Carolina was as well, because I thought they were more protected. But on the Patriot, like one of the worst things we've ever seen in the history of filmmaking, because they had the cannons and the balls being shot. So what they did is they brought in amputees. So they brought in people that were missing arms and legs. So in the scenes, they could shoot them with the cannon and have the leg go backwards or the arm go backwards. So they brought them in. So it was rainy and muddy like a lot of times, and we would just be like in these fields in the middle of nowhere filming these battle scenes. So they called lunch. So all of the amputees in wheelchairs and on crutches went into like the tent where the food was and got their food and sat down, and then crew people came in, and because there was an extra tent set across the way, refused to sit down until the amputees had to take their food and plates and go to the other tent. Yes. And then the guy on there, one day we were all griping because it was raining and they were making us go out in the mud and all this stuff. And he said, all an extra is to me is a prop with an appetite. He says, so if you don't want to be on this production, then get the hell out. That I know his name, but I won't call it.
But they literally, we finally ended up quitting. Everybody had quit, and me and Gary had stuck it out. And because we were the flag bearers, we had to hit our mark after every take. We had to run all the way back up and hit our mark because everybody lined up on us. So this guy, I can't remember what it was, but he just laid into me and Gary in front of everybody. So as he's speaking, I'm pulling the pins out of my damn wig.
Because you have to have a wig, so they do cross pins.
I'm pulling the pins out. I was like, okay, yep. I'm pulling it out.
Like, that would be a myth.
And he
pulling my wig out.
Oh yeah, and he was yelling, and I was like, "Oh, I can yell too." I said, "I can yell that," and me and Larry were going at him like I think one of our friends said, "Y'all look like twin pit bulls," and we were like waiting for you. And boy, we quit and we walked right off the set, and we got back there and we were taking the wardrobe off, and they tried to call us back because we were in so many scenes with the flags for continuity. It was. We had Chris Cooper right beside of us in so many scenes, but where I was like, no, I said, if you tripled my salary, I wouldn't come back. I said, he yelled at us in front of everybody and tried to be like the biggest cock on the block.
Hang on, let me say one thing. Every day we were there, we had to be there. Nicole knows because we stayed with Nicole during this film. But at 4:00 in the morning, you had to go through hair, makeup, wardrobe. You had to be in the fields by 6:00 to start shooting. So it was like 12, 15-hour days, and we did it for 9 months. Quit.
And then we quit.
I'm just still thinking about the poor amputees. I don't know what condition that they lost their limbs, but here they are reenacting that, having to go through that
wheelchairs through the mud.
Wheelchairs through the mud, and they're kicking them out of the tents. Like, I thought it was just bad where they would give, because I've done my extra work, obviously, where they would just give us like hot dogs and a bun and a brownie, and then you would see all the other.
You got a brownie?
Like, you got a brownie? It was like a hockey puck. I don't know if I would call it a brownie. I shouldn't even call it a brownie, but just so you could identify what food group it was brown and it was in a square, and the hot dog didn't even have ketchup, and it was like.
Most of the time you just get pizza. They just call pizza in.
Yeah.
But
I would wish for pizza.
I remember we were working on K-Pax and we were in Grand Central Station. It was the one with Kevin Spacey where they did that scene where the woman falls down at the beginning. So we filmed that all night in Grand Central.
I have to watch it.
Yeah, and we filmed it all night, but they got White Castle burgers, and we don't like onions, and they make onions on them, so we were like, we're not eating that. So we didn't eat the White Castle when we went and walked and got something, and then all the people that ate the White Castle got food poisoning. So I'm just saying, I don't want to put White Castle down, but everybody got sick that night. So
they were probably allergic to the onions.
The moral of the story is sometimes you got to go and develop your film, and sometimes you got to go get your own burger.
There's been a few times I've left set to go get food because I was like,
you've got our accent thicker. I hear our accent is thicker because we were like having fun, and our accent's thicker because we're going back and forth.
Look, and I'm one of those because I moved around. So like when I hear somebody talking, I start talking like them. So yeah, my husband's like, "Who are you?" Whenever he gets home from work, probably. But this is so fascinating. Now, what do you guys want to do? We only have 10 minutes left. The time goes so fast. I'm curious, what do you guys want to do in the future? What else is coming up besides still working 9 to 5? What is like your big passion project you would like to do? Or are you guys interested in acting anymore? Or,
we're still doing some
reality shows?
Yeah, we're still doing some acting stuff. The main thing is like right now with still working 9 to 5. I think it's going to hit. We think it's going to hit really big. I know Dolly's also working on a power ballad for women, so she's going to write something exclusively for the documentary, which is amazing. So we're working on that. It's kind of right now because the film festivals haven't come back up yet, so we really don't even know what the award season is going to look like this year because nothing's been screened because nobody's been able to watch the ones. Usually right now we're watching the ones that are going to be nominated in December. Mm-hmm. So it's just such a weird season. So we're just waiting to see how that pans out. And he's already got ideas for the next one. He plans them and I pay for it.
I plan when he pays for it.
Wait, it's good to have a sponsor.
Yeah, because he does like.
You guys ever need another one? I'll be the honorary triplet.
He does like.
Because we live so much alike.
But he really does online marketing and does his own thing with product companies. So he does that full time. So when I'm doing all the TwinZZone and all the documentary, but I really feel like this documentary, because, there's going to be so many issues, even issues we're dealing right now with, civil rights and where we are right now. But then there's also women that are fighting for their rights. There's LGBTQ that are fighting for their rights. So I feel like our documentary dealing with women's rights is going to have its time and it's going to have its audience, because most people don't realize that the Equal Rights Amendment for women went up in 1982 and was struck down and still has never been passed. So a lot of people don't realize that women are not equal under the law.
It's the 40-year anniversary this year for 9 to 5, but it's the 100-year anniversary for women getting the right to vote. So this is a huge year anniversary-wise.
So we're hoping it gets out there and gets the acclaim that it needs to get because of the issues. Sure. And then it opens doors for us to do other projects and find backing, because we've really been doing this out of pocket. So you want to get into a situation where more people believe in your work and come in and help support you to make the projects. Yeah. So, but I think we've got a good one with this one. I think it's going to touch a lot of people.
Absolutely. I mean, just having the cast that you have part of it, just with that kind of star power, that movie was amazing. I mean, it's timeless. You could watch it now and still.
It's on Stars. Yeah. If anybody wants to watch it, it's streaming
playing
on Stars
all the time. We watch it. Yeah.
I try to get people. Did somebody say something?
No, I was just. You said Stars, and then I saw something about LOL. Gary, Larry, and Camille is the triplets.
Yeah.
I'm like, taking it on the road. I have moles on my nose. That's why I remembered it, because I was like, oh yeah, I have a mole on the side. They had that
story. We used to work. Our first job was at McDonald's, and we would they would put one of us in the back drive-through and one of us in the front drive-through. So Gary would be like in the back. He'd be like, I'll see you in a minute. And then when they got to me, I was like, but they would leave us money. They thought we were running back and forth. They're like, you should not be working both windows. I want to complain to the manager. It was so funny.
That's hilarious.
Vera! I see Vera!
Yeah, Vera's here. Yeah, Vera's right. Oh, wait, that's right. You guys can't see. Let me post all the ones. So,
look,
Vera says, love you, Larry and Gary.
Listen, Vera came to visit us at our house in Goldsboro after the filming. And we're like, Vera, tell me what you see. She's like, I'm lost. We're like, what do you see? She goes, I see a tractor on a pole up in the air.
I said, you're close. You're right out. You're just about a mile away.
There was like a tractor guy, and he had a big tractor on a pole elevated out there for advertisement. And I just remember her telling us she was by the tractor on the 50-foot pole.
Only in North Carolina is that direction.
Only in North Carolina.
Oh wow. Okay. Let's see. Somebody's outed me about. I did hear about the kissing scene. One of the only. I don't think I've had another kissing scene. That was definitely the most memorable one.
We were young back then. We didn't know that it would follow us for the rest of our life. The diapers.
A similar thing happened to Madonna.
For different reasons. And then, of course, now that anytime I hear about diapers, I'm going to be thinking about you guys. Yay! That helps. As a mom that has changed diapers, I'd rather think about that. Marie's in here, and so she's like,
hey,
yay!
Marie. Hey, Marie.
So glad to see the reunion live. She worked with us a lot on. I was about to say something new. Sorry,
Mary Jane, New Best
Mary
Friend.
Jane's last. Oh wait, no, what's the new name? New Best Friend.
New Best
New
Friend.
best friend.
New Best Friend. I remember the part that was a big thing about it. It was like lead, follow, or get out of the way. Remember that part?
Mhm.
And when
That was another thing.
The movie, yeah.
I'll throw it back to Rachel True, because Rachel True, you know, she did the Craft film, and then she found out that they were going around and touring, and she was making less money than the other girls.
Right.
Yeah, I always like.
I follow her lives every once in a while. She'll talk about it, and I'll even ask me, "Oh, are you going to do?" Because I go to all the Comic Cons here. That's my only way to see famous people now. And she was saying that they never include her, even though she was on the front. I mean, she was one of the main characters, but
absolutely.
Even on the cover of the posters and different things. But they never book her, which is
she's so nice.
She
was like
amazing.
Rachel.
We all got closer with her at the graduation.
Remember, we got a picture with her too.
Yeah, at the graduation.
Her and Dominique Swain. Yeah, they were nice. Oh, so
the Long Island. She was Lolita. Dominique Swain. Remember that? Controversial.
Right, Face Off.
Yes.
She was in Face Off with John Travolta. Which,
yes, she was.
Oh, I can't tell my John Travolta story.
Yes, you can. Hi, you're in the TwinZZone.
Go
ahead, Camille.
Well, he's banned in a lot of spas in LA. I'll just put it that way, because he came to our spa and that he wasn't allowed. No, I think actually they were greedy enough they didn't care, but he allegedly propositioned two of our massage therapists, one in the dressing room. Allegedly, but yeah. And he looks like he's 12. And I was like, what? And I remember when I saw him, I was like, oh, wow, he looks like a short John Travolta. Because for some reason, I just expected him to be really tall from all the movies he's in.
Now, would it made a difference if it had been, would it have made a difference if it was Saturday Night Live John Travolta as opposed to Pulp Fiction John Travolta? I'm just asking.
Yes, it would. Yes. I probably would have noticed him a lot longer. Because when I saw Bruce Willis at a movie theater once in LA, I was on a different date. I was like, I think I was with my husband even, but now I was on a different date. And I no longer cared about who I was with. Like the way he just looks at you. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's Bruce Willis. And I couldn't stop like looking at him. And he just like locked eyes with me. At least maybe he was looking at something behind me, but who cares? In my world, it was me.
We saw him in Malibu with Rumor and with his daughters before. He was really nice. Really nice. We've never interviewed him. He did the Jackal in North Carolina. We keep giving North Carolina props. He filmed his movie.
They need to film more in North Carolina, so I appreciate that. So then I can work more around these famous people, and I promise I won't harass you, but I will get a picture.
We need New Best Friend, the sequel.
We need New Best Friend
Part 2. Great. And we're all the teachers. We made it through. Like Valley of the Dolls.
We're still in diapers, but you are nice to us. We're still doing
different kind of diapers this time. It's more like Depends diapers.
I remember Vera when we got put in that twin when we were doing the grind on the girl. Vera would be over at the side just laughing because they're like, back one, reset.
So innocent, I guess, or maybe because she had the Miss North Carolina crown to use.
She had to protect the crown.
Yeah, and I was like, they were throwing me at all the like risque stuff and. I was like, okay, sure, whatever, sure.
Yeah, they had us trapped in a mansion and we had to do everything. I remember that. But look, we made lifelong friends out of it, so that's a good thing. Sure. There you go.
Absolutely. I don't regret any of that. It was so much fun. And funny enough, that ex that broke up with me for doing the kissing scene, he totally begged for me back and then ended up getting pregnant. He ended up like dating this girl right in between us and got her pregnant with twins.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot to put on somebody. Did you do that?
No, I was just kind of like,
You're like, everything done. You said everything done to me already been done to you.
Good luck with that. And they were broken up already, but he had to do like all this stuff. And I was like, ha, and you're 21 with twins.
Mm-hmm. You've got to come out to LA and visit now.
Yes.
Oh, I will. My dad lives there. Well, next time we'll have to actually meet up.
Yes.
Next time I come.
Where's everybody at? Is Marie and everybody, Vera, everybody still in North Carolina?
We do like a whole, I don't know. I know Vera's, we live in the same town. Well, Rhonda I know is in Georgia. I think DeMorris is in Virginia, but I don't know.
Represent the South, Kings Dominion, I-95.
Nicole's in South Carolina.
Carowinds.
So.
We know all the theme parks.
I have not been to Carowinds. That's funny. I don't know who else. Let's see. Anybody else? If they'll say. Yeah, it doesn't say. But it's 7:00. See how fast
We
time
crushed
goes?
it. We crushed it.
And I didn't even get to talk to you guys about your fanatic and all the other fun things you got to do as reality shows. So
Oh
you
my
have
God,
to
we got
come
to come
back.
back on.
We'll come back on.
For
Next time we'll
sure.
have to have where like, can you make it where like Vera and all of us can talk at different times and
I'm
each one pops
trying.
up, or you can on?
Yeah.
We'll play with
That
that
would
because
be
we'd love to
fun.
get everybody talking.
Because I can get, because I could have easily sent them the message for them to come in. Because I can have up to 4 guests at a time. So
Oh, see, I've
nice.
never
I do
done this
that.
before, but I really like it.
It's fun, right? Just saying, if you
It's
guys
so cool, and I'm
decide
so
to make
glad
the
you're
twin
doing it.
zone, thank you. I'm having fun because I'm an extrovert. There was like no way I could be closed off for I didn't know for how
Right.
long. And then when because I'm friends with you guys, I know how to be opportunistic. When I saw that everybody was doing videos
Everybody
from
was doing
home, I
them.
was like, well, then mine will look just as good as theirs because
That's right.
like I have a Nikon and all of that, but I'm not a tech genius. I don't know how to figure out how to use that as a webcam instead of my webcam to make it a little bit better. But thankfully,
Well, that's why I
iMac
told you I was
works.
like, we're gonna come on early because I want to make sure everything's good because we're not techie either.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but we nailed
We
it.
need to
We
find
all
some
did good.
millennials to help us. Or like teenagers or something. Well, I appreciate you guys spending the time with me. I'm like so excited for everything you guys have coming up and can't wait to watch it. You have to come back before all of
Yes.
whenever your film comes
Absolutely.
out because we can help, for your consideration and stuff. And you guys reminded me I need to pay my dues so I can make sure I get.
We just paid ours. We always have to pay ours in April.
And congratulations, because you're doing so amazing too. So we're watching your
You got to
progress.
always be
So-
creative and keep pushing it. So that's what we all do.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to talk to you guys offline to get more advice on hosting and different things because, I don't want anybody stealing my tricks. I'm kidding. I'll share it all on air. It's just we're running out of time. I don't want to take any more of your time because you guys are in Southern California.
No, we appreciate it. So even though we're in the valley,
You're still closer to In-N-Out than I am. And good
That's true.
sushi.
Even though we can only
And the
go
beach.
out, not in right now. You can't go inside. You can only go
But you
to
can
the
get it
front.
delivered. You can get Pink Dot delivered.
Yeah.
We do Grubhub.
I was spoiled. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, Pink Dot was before Grubhub, I guess. Now it's Grubhub. I forget that exists because I've been going to the grocery store myself, but I might check that out.
We go like once a week and just try to stay. Everybody stay safe out there and just try to, waiting for whatever the new normal is going to be. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Camille. Bye, Vera. Bye,
everybody.
Rhonda. Everybody, thank you guys.
No, thank you, and I'll see you guys on the gram or
Thank you, Camille. You know we love you.
Love you.
I love you too. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye, Camille.
Everybody. Bye.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
I don't know how to go off. I'm going to wait for you to go off.
Oh, I keep pushing the wrong buttons because I'm trying to look in camera and do it at the same time, and it's impossible. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Gary and Larry Lane. They're amazing filmmakers, amazing actors, and obviously amazing storytellers. I cannot wait to see their documentary that's supposed to be coming out in the fall, maybe, depending on how all the award stuff goes. But you guys, you've got to follow them on Instagram. Gary, Larry Lane, TwinZZone, still working 9 to 5. I'll have all of it for you in the comments. And please like, share. This was so much fun. I love those boys, and they're guys. They're adults now, and I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Tomorrow I'll have Christopher Everett, who's also a filmmaker and documentary filmmaker, and he's going to talk to us about his wonderful films that he's been working on, like Wilmington on Fire 1 and 2. Speaking of Wilmington again, but this is completely different energy, considering it's about the race riots that happened in Wilmington. And then he's got Grandmaster, which is a Taekwondo film or a karate film documentary that he's doing, and so many other films that he's doing right here in North Carolina. And so we could hear about his process, what he's doing, how it works, and the history that he had to do to learn about all these different films that he's working on. I'm curious what he thinks about everything that's going on currently in America and the uprising and so on, from the perspective of him as a doing all those documentaries about such serious and true historical stuff, because you kind of can see how how history can kind of repeat itself if we're not careful. And so I'm curious what he has to say. Well, again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Make sure you share the E-Spot with Camille. Bye-bye. Awkward. Bye.